And now, Gimmick Infringement.
Welcome, everybody, to the Gimmick Infringement Podcast. I am Brad Winchester, and I am on remote location with my tag team partner, Tyler McDowell. Blake, and that sounds like you're with me. I'm not with you in this hotel room. People might have questions. But I am in Texas. Tyler, how are you?
I was gonna say I thought I was back in the desert, and you're in Texas. Yeah. I'm doing well. We made it to fall break, Brad. It's our first episode of October, and man, I'm just so happy to see you. I'm so proud of us for making it to this point. Again, you're in Texas. You got to fill us in on what you and the fam are up to. I'm well. I'm grateful. I am, of course, elated to see you. What's going on? How you been? Fill us in. How's the road trip?
Likewise, it's been really nice. It's been we've been lucky. We have great weather. All of the wind in the world lives between I think Tucson and anywhere in Texas. It's just nonstop wind. It's been just like every time you see a flag on the side of the road at a rest stop or something, it's sideways. The trucks can't stay in their lane because they're listing through the middle of the lane because
that can be really treacherous. Yeah,
it's so nuts. We got passed, I think, in El Paso by two motorcycles going, I don't know, 150 miles an hour. I don't know how fast they were going. We were going 75, and when he started, and they went by us like we were parked. And I was just like, "This is
wow.
This is some wild
Texas
stuff."
State Troopers, where you at?
There's no chance that they didn't pass the trooper that had pulled over like a truck.
Yeah,
and I can't even imagine what that dude was thinking when he just like, what do you do?
Yeah.
I can't do anything.
Without revealing or divulging too many personal details, I know for a fact that Texas State Troopers are usually on it, on the highways. I don't know where they were for this. Not as if I'm speaking for personal experience, but usually they're there and they are willing to stop you if you are going over the speed limit to any degree. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So it was at the speed limit or under, because I wasn't driving the entire way, and it was good. It was really good.
How many Texas State flags have you seen? Conservatively, estimate.
Well, conservative, of course. Not as much as you'd think because it was so dark. But since we rolled in, let's see. Can I see one out the window?
A dozen?
Oh yeah, there's one. I can see one by the McDonald's up front.
Okay, paint the picture for us.
I did think that the pillars on the way in on I-10 to the Lone Star Estate with 2 stars was funny. I did think that was hilarious.
Oh, Texas! We love our Texas viewers and listeners. I've not spent any significant time. They're only driven through it. However, I do have people I love who live there, and they say great things, Brad. And I'm glad the trip is off to a good start. Shout out Freya. Shout out Jess.
Yeah.
Shout out Winnie back home in the valley, in the desert, holding it down. Shout out to the in-laws.
Yeah, I love Texas. I actually really like coming here. The only thing that I could say is that it was chilly getting out of that car, and I did not pack a hoodie. I was not thinking it through. I was thinking, well, it's still 115 degrees outside, so I'm shorts, a couple pairs of jeans just in case we go out. Not even just because the weather is a thing. So I'm gonna be making a thrift store shop, I think, once we get into Laredo, so I can get a hoodie because it was cold. But Freya came in prepared. Freya had a hoodie. Freya was ready to go. And Freya had a week, Tyler. One more time, 3rd week in a row, play the music. It's time for Someday When You Have Kids.
And now it's time for
Someday.
Someday When You Have Kids.
Someday I can have kids.
So I sent you a clip, and it was not a clip. My kid wasn't I wasn't clipping my kid's YouTube page. I took a video as a parent is what I tried to say there of Freya at an assembly. So every year, every quarter, every whatever, I don't know how often they do this. I think it's a quarterly award thing at Clyde and Farms Elementary School, at least. They do these awards, and it's basically by class, and it's like the PBIS expectations kind of awards. Who was the respectful, who was responsible, who was safe, and there they have who was kind as well. At the high school level, we don't care about kind, I guess. I think it's more important to be safe and respectful and responsible. But I would also lump kind and, respectful, but yeah. Freya won this quarter's kindness award for her class, and it was really awesome. She had no idea. We dropped her off. It's like, have a great day. We'll see you afterward. And then we went in. We signed in the visitor form and then sat down. She didn't know we would be there because she didn't know that she was getting an award. The day before, she didn't even know there was an assembly. So everything was kind of a surprise to her. And it was really cool. So she got up there and she got the award and she was beaming. She was staring at us the entire time because she wanted to see our reactions. But it was just proud moment. Jess came in to tell me that she won an award for kindness and she couldn't keep it together. She was already crying. Now, one of the parents was also there, and I felt like they buried Freya a little bit, or buried the school, depending on how you want to look at this. And it was, oh, Freya's got the award. It's like, yeah, she never got one of these before. She's like, well, yeah, you know how long these last, right? It's like, no, I don't. I've never been to one of these. It's like, Freya's never won one in all these years. Tyler, in all these years, she's in third grade. In all these years, these many long years, and in fairness, yeah, she's not wrong. This is her fourth year at Gladden. She was there for kindergarten, first grade, second grade. Now she's in third, and she hasn't won one of these awards. Teachers, where have you been? This is an overdue award here.
That it is. It's like those actors and actresses. Come on now, the Oscar nomination, the Oscar award. It's right there. Yeah. Come on, we need to recognize. Shut up, Freya. Kindness. So I love that. I'm getting choked up just hearing this.
It's awesome. I'm so proud. Now I got more for this because this happened in the car ride on the way here.
Oh.
First of all, she hit me with a. She grabbed my arm. She likes to just grab me and pinch me or punch me or whatever and then laugh, and then I'll go after her. No, don't do it. Do it. Like, it's so funny. She'll be like, you better not tickle me. You better not tickle me. Tickle me, Dad. Like, it's one of those things. It goes
both ways. It's reciprocated.
But I went like, oh, I'm going to get you back. And she went, hey, my man. Like, I never heard of that in my life. She hit me with a, hey, my man. Like, what? Where did that even come from? I'm not saying that stuff, my man. I'm not doing that around the house. Where did this come from? So that baffled me.
We got to figure out which classmate.
I have more, but I want to wrap up the segment. I hope you get to experience all these highs someday when you have kids. Now, there's a low. Not for me. But Tyler. We were doing this in the production meeting. I was telling you about the card game thing. I think it's called Just Things, but it's basically everybody in the car, everybody playing the game has to answer whatever the topic is. Here's a topic. You write down your answer, and then you try to guess who wrote down the answers in your party. And then if you get it right, you get points. That kind of thing. Freya read off one of the questions, and I mentioned something about like. I don't know, having problems with people. And I think I mentioned something about like coworkers. Like what is something you could change or something that makes you mad about something? And I was like, I got some coworkers I'd like to. That's what it was. It was, what would you like to do that you're not allowed to? It was like, I like to hit some of my coworkers. I just like to punch them in the face a little bit. Not all of them. Most of them are great. Shout out to all the teachers, the bad teachers. And bad, I mean, like, you treat your kids like garbage. I can't say that this year. Can't say that this year I've heard any of those things. Kids complain. But, like, I haven't gotten a lot of tears yet. So, usually those people don't last long. Now, Freya said, she kind of gestured like, it's like if someone's bald and yet you don't even you just look because they're bald. I started laughing so hard and so loudly that she didn't get to finish her thought. And I looked at Jess and I said, yeah, this is going on the podcast tomorrow. Shout out to Ricochet.
Shout out to Ricochet. I don't know if there's been a tougher time than right now to be a bald man in America. I was at the gym the other day, Brad, and I held the door open for this guy. This guy must be in his 50s or so, relatively fit, about the same height as us, and a full head of hair. It's important context. So I let him in, and he goes, "Hey, having a good hair day, huh?" I said,
Damn.
Yeah. Never spoken with this guy before. Held the door open for him so he could walk in. I said,
what a jabroni.
Yeah, I should have said, yeah, you're goddamn right it was. But I think it was just so early. I said, yeah, and then moved on. But first that schmuck. And now Freya? Freya. It's hard out here for us. Ricochet, I'm with you in solidarity.
Damn.
We'll talk about Ricochet later in our AEW conversation.
Also, I gotta say,
I still love Freya. This dude will never have a door held open by me again. But Freya, I will still gladly hold the door open.
I had this thought. I kind of think people that have, I mean, there are exceptions. I'm sure I can't think of any off the top of my head, but no pun intended there. But there's I can't think of a lot of folks in my life that are bald or shaved to just commit, because the Friar Tuck situation's not a good look for anybody. Everybody I know that has to shave their head or is bald, symmetrical head, looks good bald. You look great bald.
Blessed.
You look
Thank
great. If I lose this, it's like a map of Utah, like topographical. I got
Utah.
A ridge line in the middle of my head.
That's solid.
I just have all these I think it's God, man. I truly think it's God going, you need it. You have to keep it. It's a horror show. Where
looking out for you. Looking out for you.
You can lose the hair. It looks great up there.
The disrespect is just nuts. Totally unprovoked. And I was like, wow,
a good hair day.
What is it? Is it the sheer preponderance of wrestling heels who are bald? Is it just the era we're living in?
Stone Cold is a thing, man.
Stone Cold. Everyone knows
Patrick
Stone Cold.
Stewart not ever coming home and being in the lead on Star Trek is for forever.
Yeah.
Dude kept the side hair for how long?
Yeah.
He had a bit of a comb over at one point, but
yeah, for a minute. Well, I still love Freya, and I speak on behalf of the entire GI community and audience, Brad. We're so proud of her. I saw the video. Thank you so much for sending it my way.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I mean, okay, I'll summarize my thoughts by saying this. I knew you pre-fatherhood. Mm-hmm. Great dude, amazing teacher, but seeing you as a dad now and as Freya grows up, it's incredible, man. It's absolutely incredible, and she's the best. Third grade, our favorite third grader, racking up the awards. One of many to come over the next few years, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's wild, man. It's crazy to watch, crazy to witness, and I know, well, honestly, other things are crazy to witness too. And Tyler, it's that time. It's time for the two most important words on GI.
Steph Watch.
I can think of literally no better way to lift my spirits, to improve the vibes here on our first podcast of October as we usher in the new month. Brad, you heard it. I heard it. We all heard it. It's Steph Watch. Stephanie Vaquer faces Tiffany Stratton on Saturday at Crown Jewel Perth. They met face-to-face last week to promote the match. This one is a toss-up. I could see Creative wanting Stratton to pick up another signature win, but you already know I'm rolling with La Primera. As a new champ, I'd argue she needs the win much more to establish her reign right from the jump. You agree with this?
100%.
Very good. Plus, she's Stephanie Vaquer. It's her world. And I'm grateful to be here. That's it.
Yeah, I don't have anything to add to that. You're right. You're right.
I need it to happen. I need it to happen. This will greatly impact my fall break if she does not win.
She better. But that being said, go ahead and hit me with your WWE question.
Yeah. So some background for this. 3 big shows are ahead. NXT versus TNA Showdown is Tuesday, Crown Jewel Saturday, and TNA Bound for Glory on Sunday. I loved Mustafa Ali getting mic time on NXT, mentioning how he's owed a North American title match since he never received it 2 years ago after abruptly being released from WWE. That man is so good at what he does. I'm glad he's having this opportunity. I don't think he's going to beat Ethan Page, but I'm glad that we are here. Tasha Steelz should absolutely have a spot on Team TNA, but I'm glad Kalani Jordan is receiving a new opportunity as Knockouts champ. Finally, Brad, Mike Santana must defeat Trick Williams this weekend. Leon Slater versus Javon Evans will be special at Bound for Glory as well. But here's my question for you. If the Hardys defeat Dork State on Tuesday, they'll hold both the TNA and NXT tag titles. It seems inevitable that they'll have one final WWE run, especially given the monetary success of their TNA run over the last year. I shared with you at the Against All Odds show in Tempe back in June. The Hardys were there for 3 hours following the event, just doing meet and greets. So it's been a boon for the company. I'm glad the Hardys are getting their flowers. So if this happens, if they return to WWE, what would you like to see out of their final run with the company?
It's a good question because nothing's a valid answer.
We're getting the match versus the Dudleys at Bound for Glory, so we're already checking that.
And that's good to have somewhere else. That's the one you want to have somewhere else. That's not gonna. Right. I don't think that's gonna. That's one of those really cool matches on paper that is probably not gonna. I don't know how you could possibly ever live up to those expectations at that age with that much mileage on their bodies. Like it's unreasonable to expect anything like what you got 20 years ago because it was 20 years ago. That being said, I think the Hardys are more built for pulling that. Jeff can still do the same kinds of things. Matt could probably still hit a leg drop if he needs to and stuff like that, but I don't know that I'd want Matt doing a leg drop off the top rope. I just feel like they're going to be pulling his spine out of the canvas. But him doing it off the top rope onto a table on the outside might actually be the safest way to do it. And that I could see something like that happening to kind of cushion the landing a little bit, even though he'll get splinters everywhere. But I guess if he does a run in WWE, it would. If they do, winning the NXT belts would be what I would want. Because correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think they've ever held the NXT championships.
No, that's part of the allure for Tuesday's match versus Dark State. I call them Dork State. No shade on the talent. I'm not sure what Dark State is supposed to be at this point. I think they're for sure beating those guys and winning the NXT titles. It's a title for title match on Tuesday at Showdown. They're going to win.
Yeah, the only possible exception to that would be is if like New Day went and interfered and they set up a match
right an interference angle.
I could see that.
Right, and Fightful Select reported that there are a slew of TNA contracts that are set to expire right around the post Bound for Glory time. So within the next week, Cedric Alexander is one of those names. I think if the Hardys were included in this, it would have been reported. But I just wonder, whatever their contract status may be, once it's up, it seems like WWE would be the move for one final run. I mean, they've done great business for TNA.
I just don't see them winning anything if they do a final run in WWE. You
don't see them as tag champs.
No, look what happened with Lesnar and Cena. You really think the Hardys are winning anything? Like that's not going to be a thing. It'll be the Hardys against DIY or the New Day, and then after that, who are the other tag teams?
I wonder if there's a young team that they could. Yeah, I wonder if there's a young team that they could put over Circa and I was going to say American Alpha. That's not what I meant. Julius and Brutus Creed, or if there's a team out there that who could really benefit from the rub of beating the Hardys one last time. Like for example, I want Obafemi to beat John Cena. It's Cena's last match. That would be great. Maybe it comes full circle. Hardys beat Dark State this week, and then Dark State in a year beat them. That, you know what? as much as I didn't think I would like that answer, that may be one worth thinking about.
Maybe the Bronze.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't have a final WWE run. Maybe they do business with AEW, and we get a Cope and Christian or Cope and Cage versus the Hardys.
Interesting. You remember that Hardys AEW run? It was right there, and then circumstances dictated it.
What was that? It was another Jeff Hardy situation, right?
Yeah, I think it was a DUI,
and
they were going to win those tag titles too, and
it
choices got in the way.
And I know Matt had pretty he was like, he's not like I hate the company or anything like that. I don't think he crapped on Tony Khan or anything. I think he's just like, I wanted to do more and I wanted to provide more, and I wasn't given those opportunities, and he's not wrong. It's just like nobody wants a singles Matt Hardy run when he's at this age. It sucks, but it's like, it's true. That character, as it is right now, if it went back to the full what was the Matt Hardy, the unhinged Matt Hardy, broken Matt Hardy? If we went back to full broken Matt Hardy,
right?
All the way back in, circa his debut in AEW or his run before that, I think that would have worked. But he was doing that weird in between. He was doing delete. And he's still doing delete, but he's as Matt Hardy, not broken Matt. It doesn't make sense like that.
And even when he popped up in AEW as the broken character, it just felt as though it doesn't have the same. Yeah. That, you know what? In fairness to Matt Hardy, Brad, that's a great point. The fact that we were in the pandemic, I think that greatly impacted the presentation. But even then, when he popped up, I was like,
we got
it doesn't hit the same. The compound was fun. Yeah. Even at that point, though, I
killed Sammy.
Yeah. Even then, it was like, okay, this to me it doesn't feel like it has the same juice as it did in TNA. But perhaps a large part of that could have been, well, no one was in the audience, and at least we did get the Hardy compound matches. That was
everything about that. All of that was crazy and
it was very scary. It was very scary. It was unfortunate for sure.
It's a weird time in AEW. Such a weird time because it was like growing, but also it felt like it had growing pains throughout it. Because it was not long after that we got maybe a year later where we got a not exploding barbed wire death match with sparklers in the corners.
Yes, was that
my favorite Eddie Kingston promo?
Was that pre-gimmick infringement?
No,
it was, right?
No,
did we discuss that on air? Production team.
Yeah, we had to have. Yeah,
research team. Could you? I think that was pre-GI. Happy 4-year anniversary, by the way. I'm almost positive. I don't think we discussed that on. Well, no, Okay, I'm gonna stop talking because I'm wavering now. I don't remember, but I do recall that occurring during the growing pains era of AEW. I'm glad the Hardys put it together. Them being in TNA has been the right move for all parties.
Yeah, it might have been. I think you're right. That was
pre-GI.
Revolution 2021, so it was pre-GI.
Wow. No kidding. Yeah, a few months before. Interesting.
Because
anyway.
my favorite part of that whole thing was the Eddie Kingston promo with Jon Moxley after that, where he talks about going to prison and
weren't they sitting next to each other?
Yeah. And that's when they started doing
somewhere.
those like incredible. I want that again. Mox and Kingston back together is something I need in my life because they were just so fun together. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited to see what's ahead for the Hardys. I know that table match at Bound for Glory, to your point, probably won't be a 30-minute Broadway. In fact, it should not be that. I suspect the Hardys will retain. And then after that, though, I just wonder what their contracts are and when it's time for those contracts to expire. I think the pass off to WWE, much like we've seen with Joe Hendry, or we are seeing with Joe Hendry and with Jordan Grace, I think the Hardys are going to be the next set of TNA talent that are just ushered to WWE. But in this case, it'll be a return, not obviously their first time with the company. I'm eager to see. The more I think about it, the more I realize they're probably my favorite tag team of all time. Their influence is just everywhere, and it's cool that we still get to see them doing their thing.
They're the longest running, right? Like the Dudleys they broke up because Devon's health and physical health, and Bubba had his Bully Ray run, and as a single star in I think it was TNA Impact, but also wasn't he doing stuff in ROH too? I can't remember.
I believe so, but he was at the top of the card. He was balling.
Yeah, and he was there during
Aces
the
and
Hogan
eights
times.
and yeah, that was a fascinating era of TNA. But he was at the top of the card, no doubt.
Yeah, I think unlike Edge and Christian broke up to do their singles things, and then Christian Cage left for Impact, and that changed his career. I think he ended up being a totally different person, and now we have Christian in AEW, which is one of the best things going, best characters in wrestling, and FTR has been going for a long time, but not nearly as long. New Day's been going for a long time, but not as long, and there were trios that freebirded and stuff. But I think in terms of prominence, prominent tag teams, the Hardys are unmatched in the modern era anyway. And I think the difference is that with Jordynne Grace, she's still in NXT, and if Joe Hendry gets called up, he's going to NXT. He might do main roster stuff, but I have a feeling he'll go straight to NXT and then be used on the main roster occasionally when people need a tag team partner or something and they say his name and he appears. I think that's the kind of stuff that they'll do with him. I don't think anybody could argue against that. And arguably Jeff Hardy as a solo act, as an individual, because they're already in the Hall of Fame. I guess they are WWE Hall of Famers for their match, right? The TLC match got inducted, I believe, or the TLC matches as a series with the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian. So I could be wrong about that, but I feel like that's a true statement. All right, Tyler, a question. The Netflix numbers suggest 2.3 million global viewers last week for Raw. This is down about 300,000 since the previous week. For context, the debut in January was just under 5 million viewers. So there are a bunch of potential reasons for this, but I am asking you to try to pick one. Here are your options. Is it most likely, and you have to pick one, you can't combine. Okay, that's the rule. The NFL is back. MLB playoffs. Expensive ESPN model. Saudi shows and announcements. Or bad booking decisions like Cena Lesnar.
Well, first, let me start by saying you must be a teacher. You gave me the question, then you also provided the options, and you clarified the instructions. I do understand the assignment.
I didn't
Mr.
post
Winchester.
them, so I apologize for that. My contact was not in
How many points is this for? Will this be graded? Okay, so
Oh, my God.
I am very tempted.
I'm on
Fall
vacation,
break.
man.
No other
don't
school
need that
discussion. Fall break.
Yeah,
no
no.
other school discussion. I am very tempted to go with, what was that option? Option E that you listed off there, the bad booking. And you referenced the John Cena versus Brock Lesnar opener at WrestlePalooza. Of course, NFL is always a factor for anything that could be on TV. When the NFL comes back, when the season starts, that's always going to take a chunk out of opposing television products, particularly live sports. However, I'm tempted to go with the bad booking option here, Brad, because predictably WWE had this renaissance period of the Bloodline, arguably the greatest story in professional wrestling history. Cody Rhodes coming back, CM Punk coming back, an incredibly deep women's division. You had all this going on at the same time, an absolute boon for the company. And then inevitably, you and I talked about this over the past 4 years on this here podcast. What's going to happen when some of that luster wears off? Where are we going to be at? Yeah. And now we still have a lot of those same talent around. Obviously, Roman Reigns is not working as frequent as a schedule, although he did pop back up, I should say. However, it seems like a lot of what we're seeing with the storylines, it's kind of rinse and repeat, or there's just not the same fan investment. I haven't asked your thoughts on one of your favorite members of the roster, Rhea Ripley, and where she's at currently creatively. We knew that you would have a marquee match going back to Australia for this weekend show in Perth. I think for the fan base, some are really into her and Io tagging against the Kabuki Warriors. Others aren't as inspired by that decision. Again, you have Crown Jewel, like you said, the Crown Jewel WrestleMania going to Saudi Arabia, not next year, but the year after, right, in 2027. Mm-hmm. So you have WWE leaning into being as global as ever. And perhaps there are some American fans who feel a way about that. So certainly my true answer would be, okay, if there's a pie chart, all of these are legit factors in my estimation, but what's number one? I'm going to go with the bad booking just because we were at such a heightened state. And now for me as a viewer, for me as a fan of WWE, it has cooled off pretty significantly. I'm nowhere near as invested in multiple characters and multiple stories as I was the past 1, 2, or 3 years. So for me, it's a creative issue at this point. And when I would argue you're pricing families out and just the general fan, oh well, if I can't go to SmackDown at the end of the month in Tempe, if I'm not going to Halloween Havoc in Prescott, if I'm not going to Raw in December to see Stephanie Vaquer as champ, maybe I'm more willing to consider other TV options during the week rather than say Raw or SmackDown. So WWE has their hands in a lot of cookie jars right now, as evidenced by our 10-minute conversation about the TNA partnership. But I keep going back to creative, and at least for me as a fan, that seems to be the number one reason. What say you?
I think it's the pricing. I'm going to go ESPN on this, but I was just pulling up numbers because I saw a crazy thing. It was like for a 2-day pass for WrestleMania, it's
I haven't even looked.
Kind of wild, but
what is it?
It's for an upper level seat, it's around $850.
Dang.
$9,000 for floor seats.
Jeez.
Tens of thousands for VIP and ringside packages, and
sure,
that's kind of obscene. I'm going to go with the ESPN model here, and it's not just because I think the streaming platform is super clunky. I don't think it's that. Like, companies want to make their money. This is a good thing probably for both companies. When you price it that much, my guess is the primary money is NFL money. But if you're getting the NFL packaging and WWE comes with it, you're taking fans of WWE, you're getting fans of NFL. Some of them are both. Some of them will become both because they're like, well, it's there and I'm paying for it. I may as well watch that thing. You know what I mean? So like just having that option and it's on there and it's free. I wouldn't have gone out of my way to watch that awful Mike Tyson Paul fight, but I already have Netflix, so I was able to turn it on and
everyone was talking about it. It was a cultural moment.
Exactly, and then I walked away going, that women's match was one of the best fights I've ever seen, and the rest of the card was meh, and then obviously the main event was terrible, and but the idea that it's there made me go, all right, let's watch it. What the heck? So I imagine there's some people that are doing that, but my thought was, what is the point of the weekly product? Well, the point of the weekly product has always been to get people excited for the pay-per-view product. We want to build toward that PLE, and then we have all those storylines come to their either the climax, or we create more of a story and we have like a penultimate story at a bigger pay-per-view. So if it's at Crown Jewel, maybe that's not the last thing. Maybe it's the match after that. Maybe you go to Crown Jewel, then Survivor Series is where you blow off the feud, or so. But it's always like we're going to have our marquee events. We're going to have our big matches. We're going to have our big moments. We're going to do them at these things. Well, if I can't afford to see what happens, then why would I care about your weekly product? I don't want to watch it if I'm not going to be able to invest in the build to it, because I don't want to get all excited for this thing and then not be able to afford it. Which, again, it's kind of silly when I think of it that way. AEW is doing monthly pay-per-views, and it's cheaper to do the WWE package with ESPN for the monthly pay-per-views. It's a lot cheaper, actually. It's like $10 cheaper than the cheapest HBO bundle. So
right. And then you and I have the
in
conversation
my head,
about the value, though. Okay, so you're going to buy $30 for a 5 or 6 match PLE from WWE, or you get $40 for the AEW 12, 13 match card. And sometimes you and I think, okay, WWE PLE's not enough wrestling. AEW maybe
too much.
Maybe too much. So TNA, your opportunity is right here to just slide in But no, it's what you said resonates, Brad. WWE's is cheaper, but we have been used to the WWE Network and then Peacock of
WWE
$10, $5 on my basic ad supported tier, and it's hard to go back to the old model of $30-$40 a month.
Well, I
when
bought
you've been
2
spoiling
years worth
us.
of VPN, and I'm thinking about just doing WWE Network and paying
NordVPN.
less for it.
Potential future
yeah.
sponsor of Gimmick Infringement. Yeah. I've heard of it.
I mean, it's been great. I've been using it a lot actually, and it's like, hey, traffic stuff and pop-ups, and still getting robocalls. Way too many spam calls. Way too many spam. I don't want a loan. Stop calling me about it. Every day I get 4 or 5. Every day I'm blocking new numbers, and I'm just
persistent.
Insane. Stop. Yeah, it's just loans. It's never anything like weird. It's just I'm the underwriter for this company you've never heard of. Also, I like this portrait mode stuff on this Mac. I don't like that it looks like I got spider webs between my headphones because it's not blurring out the wallpaper behind me between my headphone spaces. I'm gonna go. There we go. In all its glory, the hotel room.
When reporting on location,
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
you get some changes.
You got to do it, Tyler. Bachelors are golden. They're still there. They're still golden, and I know you got flowers for us. I'm excited to see what flowers we get and who gets what this week. You freeze up a lot on my end, but I do believe I detected a grimace, so I'm excited to see what happened this week. I can't wait. Let's get into it. Play the music. It's time for a rose from Tyler.
And now, for a rose from GI's most eligible bachelor.
Technically, we are now 3 episodes into the new season of The Golden Bachelor. The first episode was actually episode 1 and episode 2 combined. So it was a 2-hour event. And this past week, we returned to the 1-hour format, which we need to keep, ABC Production and anyone affiliated with The Golden Bachelor. Brad and I have said these episodes should always be 1 hour. It's a better, much better viewer experience. With that in mind, Brad, my rose this week goes to Carol, one of the contestants on the new season. So this past week's episode featured a roast of Mel Owens, which is precisely what the doctor ordered. You and I think in some ways maybe summoned this or put it out into the ether. So the women got, along with a comedian, I think his name is Jared Friedberg, something like that. I never heard of him before, but he was the sort of celebrity advisor. The previous week it was Paula Abdul during the cheer competition, which I thought was a little bit cringy. But this week it was the roast of Mel, which was fantastic. And Carol, one of the contestants this season, this is a Winchester special actually, she told Mel during the roast, in front of the ladies, in front of Jared, this somewhat famous comedian, in front of presumably extras in the audience, she told Mel to his face, "Mel, you're like a Detroit-style pizza. Crusty, cheesy, and square." I said, oh, wow. Forget the ball jokes I've been receiving. That one might be the joke or the roast of the month. So first off the bat, Carol is receiving my rose for that. But later on in the episode, I know that's tough. Detroit-style.
I'm also still laughing at like this
Jared Fried,
this somewhat famous comedian Jared face.
Jared Fried. Let me show that I do my research.
This guy here that's famous. He's not famous. If you don't know him, he's not famous.
Yeah, let me put some respect. Jared Fried, last name Freid. Apparently, shout out to him. He's actually a Batch fan in real life. So I do enjoy when they bring celebrities on who actually follow the product. I think that's good business for all parties. But apparently a lot of people like his stuff. Maybe he'll pop up again. Yeah, Brad. So Carol gets my rose just off the strength of that line. Later on in the episode, there were contestants who had one-on-one, such as Nicole, Debbie. There was a pajama party with the ladies, hosted by Kathy and Susan of Golden Batch fame from season 1.
Has McMahon booked this?
Yeah. Yikes. You may recall these names. Kathy and Susan were back. They've probably had the most successful post-Golden Bachelor careers, dare I say. They've been all over the franchise and all over ABC. I think they even have a podcast. So they came back to the Bachelor Mansion. This is such a a silly show that I dedicate so much of my life to. I'm realizing this as I'm reading. I'm having kind of an out-of-body experience. I'm recovering a pajama party. There, of course, was a cocktail party following before the rose ceremony. So very quickly, those who were eliminated. Amy, both Monica's, Monica P and Monica B, and Terry, they're all gone. So to my count, somehow already Mel has just 9 contestants, 9 women remaining, and then this coming week there will be a group date at a theme park, as well as this just keeps getting worse, as well as a wedding dress date with a photo shoot. A kind of classic group date when it comes to the Bachelor franchise. So Mel continues to be a less than ideal lead. He just doesn't bring a lot to the table. There's not a lot of energy. There's not a lot of trust that I have in him, but I'm willing to give this week a shot. Theme park, photo shoot, we'll be back next week with all the notes you need to hear. But Brad, Detroit-style pizza, something you've consumed. Crusty, cheesy, and square. I like that in a pizza, but to describe a person, maybe your potential partner. To Mel's credit, he did play it off well, but that was tough.
Yeah, and you know what? Maybe also Mel's delicious. Maybe you can only have Mel circle. Once a year for your health. Maybe that's, I don't know. Because
she did not say that.
Detroit style pizza. Man, Wisconsin brick cheese melts into the crust. You get this caramelized edge on that thing. Oh, so good.
Square.
My God, like 3 slices, and it's around 7,000 calories, I imagine. All right, let's pop into AEW territory, Tyler. We have kind of a lot of ground to cover here. I imagine you know what my question's going to be, and it's practically identical to the WWE one. But go ahead and hit me with your question.
For sure. Title Tuesday should be another fun 2.5-hour show this week. Mercedes Moné returns to the ring. By the way, to our YouTube viewers, do you see this new action figure? Courtesy of one cool. Brad Winchester, a Mercedes Moné exclusive from Ringside Collectibles. I love That's it, by awesome. The way.
I think it's
awesome. I love the gifts that you and I have exchanged over the years, by the way. Yeah. My favorite gift, I'm pretty sure we mentioned this once on air. I've gifted you action figures, maybe even an occasional t-shirt, Brad. Do you remember the time I gifted you boxer briefs?
Wearing them right now.
Okay, fantastic. Very comfortable with my sexuality. There just comes a point in your friendship where it's like, yo, Brad, I discovered great boxer briefs. You have to try out these pair of thieves as well. Good brand.
And the move, and you are correct. This is a conversation we need to have with America. Okay, boxer briefs.
I felt completely comfortable with my decision to send you briefs.
That's the
end. Yeah. And you like them. I love honestly, that for you.
This is why. That's what family does. That's what
Period.
I say there.
Okay. Well, I'm glad we got to have this conversation. Okay. My AEW question.
I bought you socks before that happened, in fairness.
Yeah.
It was your money, and I was in line already. But I did buy you socks.
You did that. I did that. We did that. We unlocked a new level of friendship that we did. Yep. Okay, so Mercedes is back in the ring this week. Very excited. Very excited about this figure behind me. And one of my favorite matches in AEW history is happening again. Orange Cassidy versus Pac. Here is my question, though. Andrade returned to AEW last week, attacking Kenny Omega on Dynamite, aligning himself with the unscrupulous Don Callis. Now that the Don Callis family has about a dozen members, give or take, what do you think of this faction and how it's become a pivotal part of weekly storylines? I don't recall a group being this massive in the 6-year history of AEW.
It's giving me NWO vibes, not in a great way. However, I do like having it out. It's just like there's just a lot of Don Callis, and I don't mind Don Callis coming out and being on commentary, but I think he was on commentary like 2 times, 2 different points in the show. And it's like he doesn't need to be out. Have him be on commentary if he's going to be out there. Just put him on commentary. I just don't like him going on and off and on and off because he kind of interrupts the flow of the show. And if that's the goal, fine, but it's not a fun viewing experience. But if he's there the entire time, like a Bobby the Brain Heenan kind of character, where he's just like there to disappoint everybody and make them mad, I think that would be great. Because I love Don Callis. He's a great bad guy. But this is a really big family. First of all, shout out to Bax. Second of all, we had a cameo. Glad
you caught that. Yeah.
Second of all,
I was very excited about
Andrade
AEW
came out.
program.
I saw the mask, and then he put his head down. I was like, the lights went out, and I was like, oh, Andrade's here. First thing I said it out loud when it happened, and then I sent you a text and with the music, the theme song. I love that theme song. I wasn't convinced it was him when he pulled it off. I thought it was Seth Rollins. I was like, what's Seth Rollins doing there? Because he had all those highlights, Tyler. That freaked me out. I was like, who's this? And then he flipped his hair up. I was like, oh, that's Beach Andrade.
He hit up the JCPenney salon. I went through my blonde era as well. I know what time it is.
Rocky Point Andrade. That's tourist town Andrade. What's going on here? Because he was posting on social about love Mexico. I'm so happy to be back. All this stuff, enjoying his vacation. A picture of him over like this, looking out over a cliff. And he was definitely on a plane to the event. I'm so thankful he's back. I saw online people were complaining about him going up against Kenny. Tyler, I don't know if you're familiar with Andrade's work. That match is going to be effing incredible. I don't know why people are like, oh, not Kenny. Shut your mouth. You shut your mouth right now. The other thought that I had was, like, given the contention between Okada and Takeshita, unless they're going to pull a New Day style swerve where they become an unstoppable tag team, unlikely. I think that this is an added pressure to have another member of the family push Takeshita out and go on his family-less solo run, and they'll strap a rocket to him, because I think eventually he's going to be the one that either's the one that's going to dethrone Okada, which I would be okay with, or he's going to be the one that Kyle Fletcher's going to run into, and that'll be that. But I kind of want Takeshita to be in the main title scene. I don't know that I want him beating Hangman, but I wouldn't be mad at it. I think Takeshita could be our next babyface champion, and I don't know who he would take down, but I don't mind the family getting bigger. It's going to be a fun head-to-head at some point with the Death Riders. I think that has to come to blows at some point, and I don't know how that's going to look. Remember the Jericho, and it wasn't the Jericho Appreciation Society yet. It was still the whatever they were calling it first. What was it called? I can't remember.
Inner Circle.
Inner Circle. I was like, the Illuminati. The Inner Circle. When MJF, formed the Pinnacle and the lights went out and they turned, and that's turned the Inner Circle babyface because a more heel team showed up. I could see that happening with the Death Riders or with the Don Callis family. I don't see the Death Riders as baby faces. And Don Callis isn't ever going to be anything but a heel. So I don't think Don Callis can be Paul Heyman.
I agree. Very different characters.
Yeah.
And the Death Riders aren't baby faces. You're right. Yeah, it's I don't know that we need this many people being added to the Don Callis family, but I'm very excited for Andrade, and Baxter clearly is as well. Andrade versus Kenny is going to go crazy at Wrestle Dream. Sign me up.
I can see you getting like
He's very excited. I'm excited as well.
I love that he tased you. You're like, I think. Sorry, like it's
okay,
so good.
Clearly, we're going to pause this, and we will resume our conversation in just a moment.
Tyler, now that you're back, your cat all taken care of, and the hat is back for continuity's sake, and because Freya really tore into you the past 24 hours, I got to ask you my question. So sticking with the numbers theme, AEW and all other promotions actually were down in viewership last week. However, Dynamite had a 6th anniversary show that drew a sub 500,000 views, and get this, it's the lowest demo rating in show history. It's wild to me. Collision, however, did nearly the same number. Tyler, what do you attribute the overall ratings dip in pro wrestling, and how do you account for the dip specifically in AEW, especially with a anniversary show?
I neglected to mention the ratings are down for Golden Batch. as well. So not to prolong the Golden Batch conversation, even though I know that's what the majority of our audience comes here for. Yeah, just ratings in general seem to be down for a lot of the programs that we watch, as evidenced by your two questions, Brad. So for AEW, this was a really big show for them, and of course you and I and the loyalists were gonna check it out. But for AEW, the question remains: how do you build an audience? And obviously, the first thing I want to think of are some of the stars they're missing. MJF apparently taking time off, Swerve, Ospreay, so on and so forth.
And he's earned it, man. That dude has been working like a dog.
Period.
Filming, showing up in events like 20 hours later, just crazy stuff.
Period. Yeah, absolutely. So Collision, and this was a rather
right now. Violent Night 2.
Yes. I know you were a fan of the first one.
Cannot wait. That was so good.
Collision was rather forgettable. There was some good in-ring action, but I think the issue with Collision this past week, and frankly, maybe why the number was down for the 6th anniversary Dynamite show, the matches, again, for the loyalists, for the people who are going to tune in, the matches are awesome. We're going to get excited for it. But for the wider audience, how do you bring people? See, I'm not the only one who agrees. Thank you, Baxter. For the wider audience, or bringing in new fans, or those fans maybe you had in circa 2021, or even 2019, 2020, 2021, especially in 2019, those first few months of Dynamite, how do you bring those people back? You have to have matches that are going to bring folks in. Or if I've been a lapsed fan, how do I get re-engaged creatively? I don't know that some of the card on Dynamite did that, but it's hard for me because you and I have been locked in from day one. But if I'm a new fan, how do I get brought in to this product, or brought back in? I don't know that the 6th anniversary show, when you look at the card heading into it, did that for people. But also, Brad, like you said, school just started. There's other sports on. The NBA is coming back. So it's much like your WWE question. I think it's multifaceted. But I think for AEW creatively, how can you present a product that will bring folks in and catch them up on maybe what they've missed for the past year, or in some fans' case, maybe the past 6 years if they tuned in for the first few months of Dynamite and then didn't come back.
It's great points. I think a big part of it is like, it's just weird right now. It's a weird time. It's October. Yeah, there's all these competing sports happening. And I don't know that 500,000 viewers is a bad number. This isn't, 2000. It's 2025.
That's true. We've been conditioned to, it's not even close to 1 million.
Yeah.
The sky is falling.
They got a live gate. They got 500,000 viewers. I think those are TNT TBS numbers, and they're on a new modified Nielsen ratings system. So I don't know if the WWE or the other clips or other numbers are accurate. They
started an hour earlier, I believe, as well.
Yeah, they started an hour early. It was
started at 4 o'clock our time, right?
Well, Collision this week, the numbers aren't out yet, as far as I understand, or they might be by the time we're recording this, but before the recording, they weren't out yet. This is from the previous week, because Collision was on yesterday. So to try to avoid all the other overlap with all the other competing events, it's just such a strange time, right? Like, it's just a strange time to be a fan, to find content, to manage all the content that is available. Because I can tell you, if it was on Thursdays, I'm not catching it because I'm watching Peacemaker. It's coming out. I plowed through a whole bunch of content I was catching up on. Other places in America, October's a bit of a grind. This time of year is a bit of a grind for anybody that is in education or is going to school. This is the time where we're like, all right, fatigue's starting to set in a little bit. I need a break. My brain is starting to leak out of my head. It's that time of having to post quarter grades and communicate with families, and there's open houses. There's all kinds of stuff like that. Not just for us in the classroom, but I went to Freya's thing yesterday in the morning, and I don't know how you do that if you're a teacher and you have children at a school in the district. How are you supposed to go to their things if it's not the school you work in? So it's without taking time off every single time, which, would be worth it. But like, I don't know if you know this, but there's a lot of people in schools, and lots of those people aren't coming in without illnesses. They spread it around. Sometimes people have a podcast, they're a teacher, they lose their voice, they got to cancel a whole week's recording. Stuff happens, Tyler. Now I'm getting stressed. It's October, man. It's
So
October. Now, I will say this. I am not one, preview, I am not one to complain in the classroom like all these other teachers, like, oh, I just hate Halloween. I don't like teaching on Halloween. The kids are crazy. You know that. You know that going. Lean into it. You know it going in. Why are you like, oh, no, this is going to be... Just who cares? It's one day. You think that's going to, like, affect their learning for the rest of their life by having one weird day? Throw some makeup on. Put on a costume. Go have fun for 8 straight hours. You get to go play dress up for 8 hours and hang out with kids who might also be playing dress up. And you get to eat candy. Why
That's a
are
good
we
way to look at
complaining
it.
about these kinds of things? Get all the way out of here. If you want to complain, it should be about pay. It should be a way about that your leadership treats you. And I know, Tyler, that you've got a promo for us because Phee cut a promo and you got a promo about a promo. We got meta promo action happening here, Tyler. Promo of the week. We haven't done this in a minute. Let's get into it.
And now, the promo of the week.
We are so back. Brad, this is the front runner for promo of the year. That's what I'm leading this intro with. Napheesa Collier, Minnesota Lynx star.
I don't think it's getting topped. I think you're right.
Yeah, it's just we have to talk about it before we get out of here. So Napheesa Collier, in her exit interview with the media after the Phoenix Mercury eliminated the
Wore my
the
shirt
Minnesota
yesterday.
Lynx.
I regret.
I'm so proud of you.
I regret not putting it on today.
I know. And as we're recording, to pull the
And
curtain
0-1.
back,
Yeah.
Mercury are down 0-1 to the Aces. Missed a golden opportunity to steal Game 1 in Vegas. But we are not losing hope.
Nope.
This is an Arizona-based podcast, even though Brad's on location today. We are rooting for the Mercury. But during the exit interview, after being
Not
bounced...
rooting for Dallas.
after being...
Yay, Paige, but...
Yeah, Paige. After being bounced by our beloved Phoenix Mercury, the Minnesota Lynx addressed the media, and of course, everyone was waiting to hear from Minnesota Lynx star, unfortunately currently injured star, Napheesa Collier. During her time with the media, Brad, she cut a calm yet scathing promo on WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert. This makes me think back to that great episode we had with fellow 19 media teammate Desmond Powell about midway through the WNBA season. It's kind of a tradition for us here. And
You'd have to run that back.
We really will. One of our conversations involved what is going to become of the collective bargaining agreements. Do we see a supervillain arc for Kathy Engelbert? And here we are. The part of Napheesa Collier's 4-minute address to the media that stuck with me is this. She said, and I quote, "We have the best players and the best fans in the world, but we have the worst leadership." She went on to say, in a conversation with Kathy Engelbert over the last year, Collier said that Engelbert said, Caitlin, referencing Caitlin Clark, should thank her lucky stars that she was able to make $16 million off the court because she has the WNBA's platform. Thank her lucky stars stood out to me. I don't think Phee would make that up. That's a very specific line that I've heard before in my life.
I need to add that to Wave.
Add that to the... do you want to remind the audience what WAVE stands for in your
White
notes?
American Vernacular English. Basically, it's things white people say, and thank your lucky stars is absolutely
Excellent.
one of those things.
This must be a future episode of GI just dedicated to your WAVE notes. So about 72 hours later, Kathy Engelbert has her media address ahead of Game 1 of the aforementioned WNBA Finals, in which she says there has been a lot of misreporting and a lot of unfounded allegations. So not specifically denying any part of Phee's remarks, but stating that this is affecting her and her family, and there's a lot of inaccuracies out there. So my goodness, Brad, of course, this is all a sign of the looming CBA negotiations. Is Kathy Engelbert going to be the commissioner this time next year? Will the players get a bump in pay? the WNBA is expanding, and yet here we are at a time of major uncertainty of will next season's play be delayed? And Kathy Engelbert, what say you? I'm proud of Napheesa Collier, man. You know I'm pro players in this situation, and my goodness, we have a front runner for promo of the year.
It's one of my favorite moments of the year, and you never hear players just come out and take shots. The Caitlin Clark thing, the thing that pissed me off the most about that is she turned down a big 3 offer of $5 million a year, and they came back with 15, and she went to the WNBA so she could contribute to the brand, not the other way around. Because she was financially set with these other deals, she felt like, no, I can really help grow the WNBA. And if I can help grow the WNBA, that's good for every player after me, and it's good for me in the long term. Because it's probably not going to grow the big 3 the way that they would want to. It might. It might have. But I just don't see that.
Yeah, I'm surprised the big 3 is still around. I
was shocked.
I don't.
It has to be.
Brad, I've never spoken with anyone in my life about the big 3, about the actual play, about the concept. That's kind of interesting. Ice Cube, yes, but the actual play never happened. Never seen a big 3 T-shirt outside or a jersey. No, but you're right. They offered the bag to Caitlin Clark, and she turned it down. Caitlin Clark also did not participate in Unrivaled Season 1. We know Unrivaled Season 2 is on the horizon, a few months away in January, in which Napheesa Collier and Brianna Stewart co-own. And part of why Collier was standing on business, Brad, is she said...
It's her husband's one of the co-founders, correct?
Yeah, right. I believe so. And she mentioned it would be one thing if I didn't know how to run a business, but guess what? Unrivaled is a thing. I know the numbers. I know what it means to get sponsors and to take care of players. So Phee just... in this era of the Kendrick Lamar, GNX Drake beef of just how do you cerebrally take apart your enemies, Phee is now saying, you know what, Kendrick, it's been a minute, you beat Drake. I am now taking that baton and I'm going to show you how to pick apart somebody who you're feuding against, because the way she laid this out was so impeccable, and I think public perception is Napheesa Collier is the person we're going to support here, because she laid out a great argument. And I don't know, man. We have the WNBA finals right now, Brad. I'm worried about how next season looks. I think the players are gonna the requests are gonna be met. But my goodness, if we did not get an outstanding promo on our way there, Napheesa Collier killed it.
Far and away the best promo of the year, and it's going to be interesting to see how this unfolds. I wonder if there's going to be fines levied or anything like that, because they're also in a collective bargaining year. I have a feeling that next season is going to look different because we might not have one. We'll see how that goes, but the women have earned it, and they have a new TV rights deal. That TV rights deal doesn't happen without the players bringing a good product to the screen. The quality of basketball is excellent. It continues to get better somehow, and it's it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. I've actually really enjoyed all the other parts about it too, because all that stuff that people, I think we talked about this when we recorded with Des, but all that stuff that people talked about lacking in the NBA is on full display in the W with rivalries and people beefing with each other and stuff. But then you have it internally, and it's going against the people that are in power who are like, you better. The part that also got me was hands and knees. Be on your hands and knees. Mm-hmm. It's just like, forget the "you owe me" thing, but that's such a bad look and a loaded phrase to women.
And this is all alleged, of course, but you don't talk to anybody like that. Nevertheless, employees, and Phee approaches where we wanted to be.
I don't think it's alleged. I think she said it on record.
Oh, really?
I think it was part of when she said,
Kathy,
the hands and knees thing. But I'm not sure. Maybe this is alleged. Maybe this is just Phee. I can't remember, but I feel like it was in a clip somewhere. If not, it's alleged, and this is just me recklessly speculating.
Well, and I also think about, in conclusion, Brad, the stadium and the arena workers. Whenever these CBA negotiations are looming, if there is going to be a mass delay, I think about those people, our friends, our neighbors who work at the arenas, and what does that mean for them and their job prospects. So
even the refs.
Even the refs. My prediction here. How about this?
Which are terrible, by the way, and they need to do something about that. That's the first thing.
That was part of her comments. The officiating, absolutely.
Yes. Yeah.
I do not believe Kathy Engelbert will be the WNBA commissioner by the time next season tips off. This is going to be one of those stories that we're going to track on the show.
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think there's going to be too much public pressure after that. Because honestly, I doubt the owners of the commissioner or the owners of the players are going to have. The owners are going to have to make the move. The players can make the owners unhappy, which would then push for the commissioner. But like, what's a commissioner care what players say? They don't have to. They're there to be the kind of the mouthpiece and the eyeball, the view piece, I guess we'll call it, for the owners, the arbiter for the owners, or the avatar for the owners, the other A word I was trying to find there. But she is one of the other A words by all accounts.
Yeah.
I just that promo, man. If you haven't heard it, ladies and gents, you need to go find it. It's awesome because she didn't deliver it. It was passionate language and a very serious tone, but she delivered it expertly and eloquently. I was like, this is every element of this is so good. She basically Detroit style pizza the commissioner of the WNBA.
To bring it full circle.
Yeah.
She did. I'm surprised I haven't seen her speech played behind like a Not Like Us beat or something Kendrick related, because it gave me
it's out there.
The timing of it to release it before you knew that Kathy Engelbert would have to speak to the media right before or ahead of the WNBA finals, the biggest time of year for the league. It was just so expertly crafted, and I'm really excited to see what Unrivaled Season 2 has in store, Brad. I think a lot of the goodwill that Phee and other players are building with their self-advocacy, where fans are saying, yeah, you know what, I enjoy watching you play, and also I'm down for you getting the compensation that you're owed. I think that could also have a very positive impact come January 1 when Unrivaled runs it back for Season 2. Because there was a lot of excitement for Unrivaled, speaking for myself as a fan, tuning into the first set of games, but then after that, my viewership kind of fell off. So I think this could also be really good business for Unrivaled. The public has Fee's back. Gimmick Infringement has Fee's back. How about that?
100%. Also, she had an interview. I don't know if you remember this. This was in February of this year, I think. I said that when I was we did the recording live from the stage in the auditorium, but I was afraid to say all the things and promote stuff because we were being sponsored by a gambling product. Felt weird out of high school to do. I was listening to the interview on South Beach Sessions with Dan Lebitard. Phee was on there for that interview, and she gave a great interview and a really good insight way that Unrivaled started, how she feels about it, about how she feels about the W. Totally worth a listen, including her experience at UConn and working with Gino and yeah, really interesting stuff. Tyler, what did we miss?
What did we miss? I have one major note for us, Brad, and this is involving former presidential candidate, former Vice President Kamala Harris, her new book, her autobiography, 107 Days, and autobiography in the sense that it's specifically detailing her presidential campaign. It is out. She is on full media tour duty. I have obtained a copy, Brad, and she has a lot of words about her experience, about the Biden administration, and I wonder, is this going to lead to her announcing a campaign for presidency in 2028, which we know will be here before we know it. So I'm fascinated to see what her career arc is. Does she hang it up? Does she pursue the highest office once again? I don't think a run for California is going to happen. She said as much for governor of California, I should say. When you are vice president, then you run for president and you don't win, what do you do after that? I don't even know what Tim Walz is up to. It seems like when the vice president nominees are mentioned, but then their ticket doesn't win, it seems like they kind of are never to be seen again, at least.
He's still doing his thing.
But he's still doing
his thing. Yeah.
The coach. So for Kamala Harris, really excited to dive into this book. Eager to see what's next for her politically and career-wise. Does she have a viable shot back to being the candidate? Does she not? But really fascinating look at the behind the scenes of her campaign. One could argue the lack of support from from Dr. Jill Biden, from former President Joe Biden, and just a reflection on where the party is at and perhaps what's next for her. So Kamala Harris full media tour. That is my book of choice for this month and for this fall break. What do we miss?
I mean, like, there's all kinds of things going on. There's politically, Trump appointed I think it was a circuit, not a circuit. I can't remember where the judge was that he's appointed, and I can't remember which judges he can appoint, but one of the judges he appointed actually blocked the Portland call up for deploying troops as being unconstitutional, temporary block, going like there's no precedent for doing that. And as of this morning, he called up 300 guardsmen, federally called up 300 National Guardsmen in Illinois to go to Chicago to help ICE raids. And that's a thing that's happening in America. We got armed troops doing military occupations of cities that voted against this person who is creating a gross misuse of power. I've never seen a more stunned audience in my life than the group of expert leaders from the military who have responsibilities of keeping people alive and safe, getting called up to be lectured about keeping people alive and safe as almost like we want you to know who's in charge around here kind of meeting. And they all left kind of looking at it. Enough so somebody is moving toward an impeachment through the 25th Amendment, which is never, I don't think anybody's actually moved for before. After coming out of that might just be political grandstanding. I don't know. Things feel spicy, but rhetoric like we're going to show that city what the War Department's all about to an American city. The other thing too is Bad Bunny announced for the Super Bowl halftime show, former wrestler, or current wrestler, depending on how you look at it, Bad Bunny. One of my favorite moments of all time in the WWE in terms of entrances. That was such an incredible moment. The backlash of people going like, we don't want this un-American performer to come out there, not realizing how Puerto Rico works, is something completely wild to me. But Bad Bunny announced for the halftime show, people showing their racism out loud, people going to be sad. All of his music is great. I actually really enjoy Bad Bunny, and I think it's going to be awesome. We can put on a show. We've seen it firsthand. But also people going like, oh, Jay-Z doesn't know what he's doing because of this. It's like he clearly knows what he's doing. The halftime shows have been really excellent for the last several years. So I don't know, like we should dust off some wheelchair-bound people to go and perform. Well, you can, but you can have them go with the other folks too. You can get the current draw for young folks to watch, and then for the people that are like, I got to switch out my colostomy bag, they can also watch. Like they can also do that. So I'm excited for Bad Bunny. So that's on a downer note, but also an uplifting note. I'm pumped to see him. And finally, this was our most homoerotic episode to date. We brought up the underwear you got for me, and I started with implying that you were in this hotel room with me. So it's time to wrap it up, I think.
That it is. I'm proud of us. Another fun episode. Well, please be sure to follow us at GIPod19 for exclusive show updates and much more. As Brad mentioned, fun episode. We thank you all so much for tuning in. October marks once again our 4-year anniversary. We are so grateful for everyone watching, listening week in and week out. Please know it does not go unnoticed. Brad, I don't know if you want to say any words, but I know how much our platform and our podcast means to you. It means so much to me, and we just completely are in awe, and our breath is taken away when we see how many people tune in with us week in and week out. I think Baxter's speaking for you. We're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for all of your support, and we'll be back next week. We'll see you then. Gimmick Infringement is part of 19 Media Group. You can listen to us on Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find podcasts. You can also find us on YouTube via the 19 Media Group channel. Please like, subscribe, comment,